जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और मेरे को बड़ी खुशी हो रही है। अभी मैं गुफ्तगू में होऊंगा एक ऐसी शख्सियत के साथ जो तारुफ की इनको ज़रूरत है ही नहीं बिल्कुल भी। आप सब इनको जानते हैं, सब इनके बहुत से फॉलोअर्स हैं, बहुत से एडमायरर्स हैं एंड दे लव द वे शी स्पीक्स एंड she has had the best education in the country, I would say. Where went to St. Mary's in Kanpur. She comes from a political family. She's had a very illustrious career as a television anchor as well as in politics as well. Let's go on and speak to a very dear friend and somebody who we all admire, Shazia Ilmi. Shazia, thank you very much for spending time and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind to you. Thank you so much, Mohammed Shah, for having me over. And you've always been a great friend, and a fellow traveler on this journey. So, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you,
You're a lovely
Shazia.
show.
Thank you. Shazia, शुरू से start करते हैं. First, tell us a bit about your education from St. Mary's Kanpur, or how was your schooling days like? And were you always into debates and declamations and all? Because you speak so well. So where did that come from?
Well, I wish that were true, but I think it comes from a sense of questioning. Ever since I was a little girl, um, born in a large family, so to speak, not even an afterthought for my parents. I think it was my entire life has been unplanned and an adventure. I hope not a misadventure for some, but for me, definitely a big adventure. Starting from my birth, I'm told, from my mother, because I think my parents were done with children, and after having six of them, and then I was born 7 years later. So, yes, I'm the youngest daughter in the family, and since I was a kid, I think because there were so many brothers and sisters, of course, we didn't meet very often. The brothers would be studying in boarding schools, and sisters got married off early. So I was actually, I had pretty much the Kanpur house to myself. But my early days, I would recall as days filled with questions and questioning, incessant questioning. Why is life this way? Why does the cook who comes over, why don't I call her auntie as I call all my mom's friends? And is it a function of class, or is it a function of age? So I just remember having a million questions in my head, and I drove my mom nuts, and everybody around me. So I think I was just one of those children who just had too many questions and who were really annoying, to be honest.
इरशाद भाई भी boarding school गए थे क्या?
Sare brothers. They all went to above went to Darul Uloom and Jamia Millia. But he made sure that my brothers, all of them, go to first Sherwood boys and then Welham boys and then Do school. So all my brothers are Daw schools. So somebody who studied
अरे
in Darul Uloom, imagine somebody who studied in Darul Uloom, an Islamic seminary, a madrasa, and a seat of Islamic learning, sends his children to daughters to St Mary's Convent Kanpur and to St Bede Simla later, and then Delhi. And so it was a big struggle, especially for the daughters, because it was just not done those days. And Abba really was very iconoclastic. So I really owe everything to him. It just takes one father, you know, to change the course of not his own life, but that of his children. I think it makes such a big difference. It just takes one young man and his determination. Why I don't say women is because it's still in our homes, it is the fathers who make the decisions, you know. And though our mothers might want something and seek something, but where I come from, it is largely patriarchal. So let me not deny that and speak for the sake of it that, mothers also decide. It is essentially a father. So I think a role of a young father is so important, and because he can just fulfill not just his own destiny, but that of his children.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. ये बताइए, जब आप शिमला गए, सेंट बीड्स, how was it, after St. Mary's Kanpur, फिर आप, you were in the hostel over there in Shimla, away from family now, and of course you had a family where your brothers went to the best boarding school of the country, in fact. So how was the hostel life in Shimla?
So, I was one of those. I had my mind always questioned by the gender differences, the differences that happen only because you're a girl. And I think I just felt that, oh, when my brothers can go, why shouldn't I be sent? And then I was told I should be grateful for just at least going to school. So I said no. Uh, I mean, I'm far more grateful now, but gratitude was not in my nature at that point of time. It was more struggle and need to get more from life. So I insisted that, I had very good marks. I was a head girl of my school, and I topped in maths, in English and economics and pol science. I had 92, 88, and 86. So I pretty much matched, not just Kanpur and all the schools there, but in the state itself, and ISC board, ICSC, and then ISC. So all everybody who got less marks made it to LSR, Stevens, Miranda House, and all of that. And I didn't, because my folks felt Delhi will be too corrupt, too bad a place for me. So St. Bede's convent would still be a better compromise. So that was a compromise solution. So that's when I went, and yeah, the world was very different. I was used to the mountains, of course, because all my life I've been going there, and mountains are my true love. Abba and mountains, and fruits. Three or these constitute my favorites amongst
I can
all
so
people and things.
I can so connect and relate to that, because
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Like in our family, like my sister, my elder sister, she went to AMU to Abdullah Hall, and my second sister Saira, who you know as well. So she didn't want to go to AMU. She said, "मेरे को अलीगढ़ नहीं जाना." उनको एक जहन में ना एक
Yes.
इमेज थी typical. तो ये अलीगढ़ तो मैं जाऊंगी. मेरे को भी मैं भी गया था by the way अलीगढ़ फॉर्म भरने के लिए, but I went to Pune. So my sister was sent to. She rather went to Ajmer, Sophia College. तो उसी तरीके से मैं समझ सकता हूँ when you went to
Yeah, I
St. Bede's,
relate
वो
to
ही
that
वो
because my eldest sister, much older than me, almost like she's almost like a mom. She and her husband are like parents to me. So she went to Aligarh University. I mean, I have nothing against the university, but I just didn't want that for myself. I
I know
just
what you mean.
I wanted a um, more open education. I wanted to be in the mountains. I wanted to be far away. And I could relate more to St. Bede's. I mean, I would have preferred to be in Delhi, but I just felt no, St. Bede's
I,
makes sense.
I'll rewind life for you back slightly. जब आपने when you were the head girl of तो you're a born leader actually, from St. Mary's. उसके बाद नहीं नहीं भैया दिल्ली नहीं भेजना, कंजर्वेटिव मुस्लिम फैमिली में लड़की बिगड़ जाएगी हाथ से दिल्ली बम्बई
I
हाँ
get so
मुझे
mad
मैं
because some people felt my brothers are bigda hua, and maybe one of them was bigda hua, but that doesn't mean that you don't send your daughters. But there was this image, and I always say you don't want to send girls, and brothers were very protective, also about you. So I just feel that they don't want to meet men like them. That's why they want to keep you away, which is I wish they just changed themselves, and instead of putting barriers for girls, because they don't want to meet other men who are like them. So because that's the idea of what a man should be like and what a girl should be like, young woman should be like. So yeah, so
I know.
St. Mary's was as cloistered and sequestered and sheltered as Kanpur was, and it's just that it was in another locale and with new characters, but it was very much the same mentality of protecting women, very paternalistic. Patriarchal is a word very often used, so I don't use it too much. But girls को protect करो, ladies must be seen and not heard. So the same old feudal, medieval, religious, cultural setup in a more polished setup. And there also all the girls, all they wanted to do was just find rich husbands and get married. So again, I was an odd one there. I was such a misfit. So I was just saying, what is the matter with me? People seem to fit in everywhere. मेरे को ही प्रॉब्लम है. And my folks say सिर्फ तुमको प्रॉब्लम होता है, किसी को नहीं होता है. तुम्हारी sisters को, cousins को, aunts को, किसी को प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. तुम कानपुर में हो तब भी तुम्हें प्रॉब्लम है. तुम दिल्ली घूमने फिरने जाती हो तुम्हें वहाँ पे भी प्रॉब्लम है. तुम शिमला जा रही हो तुम्हें वहाँ पे भी प्रॉब्लम है. मैंने कहा बस है मुझे प्रॉब्लम. मगर लोग ऐसा क्यों सोचते हैं? Why should a girl be made just to I'm just not my body. I'm my mind. I'm my spirit. I'm my soul. I'm the rest of me too. Why should I be just a girl or a woman? Why should the my anatomy decide my fate? That's what I thought. I'm not going to just be this. There is more to me than you know the the body. So I just wanted to go beyond. I love spiritual stuff. I love mad, insane stuff. I love experimenting, trekking, hiking. Like I don't like, or naturally I don't like, diamonds in jewelry. I'm a no jewelry person. As you can see, I wear my silver old stuff. So I felt, why should a diamonds be a girl's best friend? Why? Why should be a way to man's heart be through his stomach? World's chefs are all men. Then why should the task of cooking be given to women? I mean, it's like specialization of labor. You can do something better. You can do better in something else. Why can't I lead? Why can't I have people cooking for me? And I was such a hog.
Absolutely.
I was obsessed with food. I remember, I had such bad manners. I used to go to people's houses, and I should just wait to be fed, and I would just make an excuse and go and see the fridges, what was kept there. Hostel habits, na खाने में क्या है? I was such a duck obsessed person. कि खाना मिल जाए, खाना मिल जाए. So it was like that. I was I
So how
was
do you
like,
keep yourself so fit? If you are so fond of food, आप फिर भी इतने fit हो भाई? कैसे exercise करते हो क्या? Daily yoga करते हो? What do you do?
so yoga is something I've done a lot of, and it's just a part of me. And when I've started being careful about what I eat, and I walk a lot. My lifestyle is anything but sedentary. It becomes because you're on TV debates. If you're a national spokesperson for the ruling party, then what happens is that every day there are debates and you have to speak on various subjects, which means hours and hours of sitting. Even when you want to read and write, it's all about sitting. So it's all about, but I have to sit for my job, but I'm not a sit down person. No, no, no. I'm like a in movement person. I'm all about kinetic motion. Kinetic energy is what I represent.
हमें ये बताइए, is Preeti Zinta as well from St. Beat, Shimla, if I'm not
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mistaken?
Very much. She's very much there. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
तो पता है, मैं केवल 3 लेडीज को जानता हूँ from St. Beat, Shimla. Okay,
Preeti Zinta very
Presenta,
much there.
you, Presenta, you, and there was a
Yeah,
girl
yeah.
called Pallavi Singh from my college, Ferguson College. Supposedly the prettiest girl of our college, of Ferguson College. So मतलब ऐसा कुछ है कि भाई
All the girls were like your colleague and Preeti Zinta. They were so beautiful. And मुझे लगता था सब इतने खूबसूरत थे वहाँ पे. They were just such pretty girls, well turned out, and St. Bees was like a finishing school, whatever, or so to speak. So I said, hey, I'm never gonna make the cut of being the cool person because they were really like rock stars. So I said, there's gonna be a battle of ideas. So I just worked. That's why I was the head of the debating society. I was a captain of my house, INS Vikrant. And so I said, कि अब इससे तो कुछ होने नहीं वाला है. How do you win people? How do you go there? You can only do it with debates and skills and your prowess, not with looking good or dressing up well, because that was not happening for me.
right. You have been a born leader, I would say. School में head girl, house captain, and then into politics and such things. And a common quality मैं देखी है of great leaders, right from internationally all over history itself, कि उनकी एक quality है of they are very good orators. They have this ability to articulate their thoughts very well. How much do you rate a speaking ability to a great leader?
No, I think you're right. Oratorial skills are very important. I would say that. I would definitely say that. But something more than that is also it's also the ability to think differently, to be original. Only if you have original ideas can you talk about them. You
Right.
see, unless and until you have nothing to say, whatever you say, however you may say it, will not appeal to people. So it's also what you say as much as how you say it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So both are equally important. So if you have something new to offer, if you're engaging with life in a different way, and if you're seeing some opportunity in adversity, um, you can make a difference. So I think it's just not oratorial skills, but it is also what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and how you're communicating that. I think at the end of
Right.
it, it is authenticity of your being that matters.
Right. So, being the speaker that you were always, and उसके बाद फिर tell me about your journey, your stint as a television anchor. I mean, उसके बारे में बताइए, how did you get into it? And because everybody, सब
So I
आपको
passed that.
चाहते थे screen पे देखते थे, Shazia Ilmi, and used to be like this big rock star on television.
Yeah, it was a very lovely career and fabulous one, and I've enjoyed every bit of it, though there were so many crazy moments in it. So I passed out of St. Bede's College, and then I didn't know what to do, and I realized that it was important to get into a professional course. So there was Masscom Jamia. I did my master's program. I got in. I was seventh on the entrance list, and I was very young for my course because the minimum age was 21 and maximum was I think 30. But I finished my masters well before I was 21. So it was crazy. And I just told the dean that if you don't allow me in and use my certificates against me and my age, I might get married off. So please meko padne dijiye. So I did that, and then that was my passport to this world. And it
I
was
can
beautiful
so
because
relate
as
to
an
this term. I can so relate to this term, especially Musliman Khanan में ना कि get her married off.
अब शादी
Yes.
कराओ कितनी पढ़ेगी लड़की, बहुत हो गया पढ़ाई
Yeah.
लिखाई।
हाँ.
अब बाकी
Go ahead.
बाकी शौहर बताएगा कि अगर शौहर इजाजत देगा तब ठीक है, ये है ना। पप्पा शादी करो, अब शादी का वक्त आ गया भाई, लड़की बड़ी हो गई है। That's how it is, and that's so much pressure. And I don't even blame our parents. Sometimes it's just the way society is. That everybody who comes to the house has only one question to ask. Everybody has only one question. Shadi, shadi. They see you at a at a social gathering. It's about shadi. Eid में मिलो, बकरीद में मिलो, किसी की शादी ब्याह पे मिलो, यही सवाल होते हैं। शादी कब हो रही है? शादी कब हो रही है? शादी कब हो रही है? अब क्या कर रही हैं? अब शादी कब हो रही है? यही है। I think we have to change the questions. That I want to tell people in the society.
lot of
Please change the
lot of
questions.
people lot of people would no I know Ajay, but a lot of people would have problem that शादी कराओ उसके बाद शादी होगी बच्चा कब कर रहे हो दूसरा बच्चा
हाँ,
कब
बच्चे फिर
let
बच्चे
people
कब हो
be
रहे हैं?
there
फिर अच्छा
be
एक
let
बच्चा हो
people
गया,
do what they
दूसरा
want to
बच्चा कब हो रहा है? ओफो! It's like too much. It's an unending cycle of this
I
of
swear
this of pressure. I wish
I swear
सोसाइटी को ना बदल देते हैं। मैं तो चाहती हूँ सोसाइटी बदल जाए और ये सवाल ही ना पूछे कोई कब शादी हो रही है।
सही बात है
सवाल
I
ये पूछे
swear
कि भी क्या कर रही हो? किस चीज़ करने में मज़ा आता है? तुम्हारा पैशन क्या है? अगर सोसाइटी का प्रेशर नहीं होता तो तुम क्या करना चाहती? है ना? ज़िंदगी कितनी अलग होती। और जब तुम्हें किसी ने कुछ बताया नहीं था कि तुम्हें ये बनना है, तब तुम क्या बनना चाहते हो? I wish to ask
yeah
these questions, from children, because otherwise it's just set your mind, you don't make a willful choice.
very true very true so did you get placed on campus because MCRC के साथ मैंने हालांकि even I tried for Jamia by the way I flunked in the entrance test so I couldn't get through mass communication फिर मैंने बाद में वो होता है ना they make short films as talent who's the
Yeah,
talent of your film so I have to
yeah,
come from
yeah, yeah.
outside and be the talent for a lot of these short films so you got placed on campus in
Yeah.
Jamia is it with Star
Yeah, so people who came to interview me liked my short film that I had made, and that's the beginning of my first job. Yes, and then I always thought I was a technical person. I was a producer, director, and I was in Z. And then Star News had this big opening in Bombay, and I was a debut anchor. And I said, I'm more of a technical person. Put me there. They said, no, 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 you be an anchor. By that time, I'd done a lot of reporting, so I was familiar with the dynamics of the camera being in front. But I was a producer person. I was a technical person. How to set it up, 3 cam shoot, 6 cam shoot, logistics, reporting, writing the script, sending it, making it ready to air, and all of that. So I was not like a anchor. I would in fact direct the anchors. I would be busy with the frames and the composition and the edit later on and to make it into a program. So I wasn't used to this, but then that was in a way, it was a new career for me. And I loved that because all that I knew, I could use that, and also because of a technical knowledge. of what I'd learned helped me in my anchoring. So it was all great, and I could just be myself. I remember there was a story about one former Miss India, or she was, and they were just running this story of her. I mean, somebody had recorded her against her consent, and they were blackmailing her, and they had imprisoned her in a Jammu jail, and I was very upset about. They were running it with morphed videos, and they were saying, "See what's happening, see what's happening." And I decided to do the same story, but I said, "What's happening is that we're using some girls who they've recorded against her wish, and we're maligning her. But the men involved, the man who made the video, the men who are distributing the video, and the people watching it are equally to be blamed. And there used to be SITA, Suppression of Immoral Traffic Act, SITA, which changed later on. The name changed the name. So I invoked that act on air, and I said that we have to change the way we look at things. Even the way media does things has to be changed, and we changed that. So it was. So these are small rewards, and the girl called me and said, "Thank you so much. For once, the focus is not on me and what I did against my consent." So she was just being harassed, by the system, by the world given to titillation, and by the men in play for something which was where she should have been felt more protected. You see, so I had different way of looking at things, and I felt all these issues should be the main stories. What is the first page and what is the third, second, fourth page? So why can't you change the first page, the headline? The headline has to be about you and me, and us. It has to be about my khala out there. It has to be about my chacha um, back in you know Sultanpur. It has to be about regular folks. So I had a different way of looking at life, I think, always. And I think that shows up in my career choices and the shifts I make. I follow the
So
moment, the path.
you have been such a good anchor. So ये बताइए, अब जब आप पैनल पे बैठती हैं टेलीविजन पे as a speaker and on the other side, so is that the reason? Because the job इस साइड पे कुर्सी पे क्या होता है कि आपके साथ अक्सर मैं देखा नहीं कि कोई आपके साथ डिबेट पे without raising your voice कोई डिबेट में जीत पाया है भैया. You state facts, logic,
I state facts. Yeah,
reason,
I state
and
facts, and I
भैया
don't.
शाजिया इल्मी जहाँ पे इस डिबेट में है, मतलब that's it.
Because I think it's very important. I'm very impressed by a lady who
क्योंकि
I'm a
आपके
business
साथ
panel.
पैनल के
I am very
आपके
impressed by
साथ पैनल्स पे मैं भी बैठा हूँ कभी आपके आपके go ahead please.
Yeah. No. You've been there on so many panels with me, and we've always been able to communicate without getting into any verbal fisticuffs. Really free of that guilt. There are times when I have been guilty, also of being angry, and I regret that because nothing much gets said. And I think
I
it's
know, I know.
all very crazy that
Was
we
that अफजल
resort
जो
to
पीछे भागा
anger.
अभी? वो अफजल था कि पीछे से भागा आपके?
वो अफजल है
अरे
अफजल
ईमान
Manji is
आपको
here. No,
मैं
Afzal, say
पीछे
hi. This is a stream where we're doing a podcast. Just say hi to Mohammed
Hi,
Shah.
Afzal.
Hi
Funny
How
Afzal,
are
how
guy.
are
you?
you doing bro? Great
I'm good. I'm good. Long time.
long time यार, real long time. Yeah, मैं पीछे से पहचान गया. मैं कहा दे that
Are
I
you
that
know, I
really?
know.
Afzal.
Wow.
How are your cats doing? How the Persian cat doing?
Cats are good.
Cats are doing very well. One is around here. I had to
Where's
move.
Shamsher?
Shamsher is here.
I'll try and get him. Wait. Where is he?
Shamsher is here.
अरे how sweet, how sweet.
Shamsher makes an appearance on television once in a while.
I I swear, same thing is with me. कभी कभी you can't control like dogs ना. तो वो आप बात करें पीछे से गुजरेगा वो. पीछे से भाई वहाँ बैठ जाएगा. I know what
I
it is.
know. So I love cats and dogs. I think it's so beautiful to have these, especially once you can domesticate. I don't think we should keep big dogs in a small house unless you have big houses. You've had them. I've not had such big houses. So that's why cats are easy to manage for me. But I love dogs equally. I think they're so loving and cute, most of them. And it's always good to have, other creatures of other species than humans around you, I think. You bring so
I know,
much to the.
I know. So ये बताइए, then you joined Anna Hazare's movement, anti-corruption movement.
I was
And
a
फिर
very serious
कैसे
anchor
हुआ?
and a very famous anchor. And I just wanted to have a change, of scene. And I was very restless at that point of time. There were so many stories about corruption at that point of time, and I was thinking कि क्या कर सकते हैं इसके बारे में. मैं रोजाना वही न्यूज़ पढ़ती रहती थी, ये स्कैम वो स्कैम, मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आता था. And one thing, I want to tell you, because a lot of your people, everybody thinks of it ideology, Congress, BJP communal, Congress secular, एक ही बन गया है. And corruption की बात ना करो. If you're a Muslim, you must talk about, communalism. I felt that as a Indian citizen who's also a Muslim, my mandate has to be larger. Sure, I should talk about breakdown of law and order and rioting and discrimination. Sure, but
Network, I think, भाग गया है.
I lost
Yeah,
you.
yeah. No, I can hear you.
So I
Yes.
felt it was very important for me to talk about this, and not enough people spoke about it. But corruption impacts all of us, and I used to think that had we not had these CMs in my state, Kanpur state would have been different. Are we just Hindus and Muslims? We also citizens. We have other identities also than our religious one. And I think politicians use this, to kind of aggravate us against each other and not talk about the real deal, which is about governance, which is about our rights as people, as citizens, about our roads, about about the allocation of our budget to the real thing. So I wanted to see life like that, and I was just quite tired of this identity of just being a Muslim who should talk only about certain issues. I think that's what led to this, and I wanted to speak. And so everybody said, "Oh, you should. If you speak against Congress, you would be seen as supporting BJP." I said, even people from the Congress, people from the BJP, RSS, Jamaat Ulema, Hind, all of them are welcome to join, because this is for the country and this is against corruption and this is about
I
better
the
delivery.
network
So
is
this is point,
breaking
yeah.
up slightly.
सबके लिए हाँ अच्छी चीज है, सब आए यार,
And
बुरी चीज. I'm losing you.
ladies and gentlemen, I think the network is breaking up slightly. Goes completely. I think we will come again. Be in conversation. Shazia Ilmi, as I mentioned, she finds something, and when it's convenient for her. But it was great. It was fun chatting with Shazia Ilmi, and आपने इनको देखा है, आपने इनको सुना है, आपने इनको चाहा है. You have one aspect me you get to know now, and that's the second part we will you know, I'll leave it on that. Thank you very